It was a step too far for the head of Radio France. Guillaume Meurice's joke about the Israeli Prime Minister was deemed gross misconduct. He'd been suspended since early May and he's now been permanently removed from the public radio station. The comedian believes his joke about Benjamin Netanyahu, who he twice referred to as a, quote, kind of Nazi, but without a foreskin, is in line with his regular satires, which heavily poke fun of politicians from across the spectrum. But France's media watchdog says otherwise. It issued a warning to Radio France when Meurice first made the comments in October, following Israel's response to Hamas's attack. The station says it's been left with no choice but to fire him after he repeated the line in May. The comedian in part labelled the dismissal as a victory for France's far right. This as Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party says it plans to privatise public media if it gains control of the French Assembly.
Well, for more analysis, we can speak now to Thomas Perroud, who is a law professor at the Paris-2-Panthéon-Assas University. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Professor. Is Radio France right to have fired Meurice for making this joke?
Well, it's difficult to have a straightforward answer. However, we know that the public prosecutor, the equivalent of the Attorney General in France, decided not to press charges against Guillaume Meurice for the alleged anti-Semitic joke. It is not an anti-Semitic joke, so I would say they were wrong to go forward, and he probably will go to court on this, and they will probably lose on account of his free speech rights. So I think, to my mind, it was a wrong step.
But isn't it more procedural rather than about the joke itself? He was given this warning some months ago for making the same joke. Then he makes the joke again in several months later, and he's clearly disregarding the warning he's been given by his employers. And therefore, doesn't that justify him being fired on the grounds of serious misconduct?
Yes. However, there was a change between the two decisions. The fact that the public prosecutor said that there was nothing illegal in the joke. So he could argue that as there was nothing illegal, this was a change from what was previously said. So he could argue that he could do the joke again. So that's one argument. However, there is another problem in this matter. It's the fact that the CEO of the public radio interfered directly in the proceedings, and we have serious elements to show that it was not taken by an independent tribunal inside Radio France that could be impartial and try this case, yes, in an unbiased manner.
Sure, and it's worth pointing out, of course, Meurice is not a journalist, he's a comedian. And, do you think that perhaps comedy and caricature, because you see some pretty distasteful cartoons and caricatures in some of the French outlets, let's say, do you think that caricature and humour should be given a little bit of extra slack when it comes to freedoms of expression?
That's what the European Court on Human Rights says, that that humor should be given, of course, more. You can say, using humor, more things that you could say in a regular speech. You have more, yes, freedom. However, you have to abide by the law and not make an anti-Semitic remark, not make an anti-Semitic insinuation, even though it's humor. For instance, Dieudonné, who is also doing humor, did anti-Semitic remarks and therefore was condemned in court, and his shows were even banned. So this could not be, you cannot say that Meurice's remark is anti-Semitic, and therefore he stays within the boundaries of what's authorized in a society that upholds free speech.
I just want to put you on the spot.